going on, guys? Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be covering the filmmaking starter kit for beginners. What's going on, guys? My name is Jack. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be jumping into, yes, like I just said in the intro, the filmmaking starter kit for beginners, compiling 8 key things. I'm pretty sure it's 8. If I'm remembering right, it's 8 key things that basically you're gonna need if you're deciding to make films, whether it be little short films or whether it be anything to a YouTube video, or stuff that I do is club videos and music videos, and basically any type of video you want. I'm gonna show you guys the crucial things to actually get up front, so you guys are starting off your filmmaking career with a bang. Or, you know what I mean, by all means, if you've already started your filmmaking career, then this will improve it if you're missing anything on this list. Definitely, because these are the essentials in my opinion. Now, all links are, of course, down below in the description to all the products I talk about in this video, as well as links to all the equipment I personally own and use on a day-to-day basis. All right, jumping in terms of, you know what I mean, just the number one thing that I think is extremely important for filmmakers to get and add to their filmmaking starter kit, or you know what I mean, get in their filmmaking starter kit, is gonna be a powerful computer. I've got 2 powerful computers. One is a MacBook Pro. It's actually a few years old. I think it's like the 2014 edition, so by all means it's not the crazy newest updated powerful version, but it still does you know what I mean, good video editing. Can run Premiere Pro on there, and I've done a few little projects overall. That computer's great for when I have to travel and either do an edit on site, or you know what I mean, I'm not coming home that night and I want to start looking at the clips and going over stuff. For portable stuff, when you're on the move, you do want a powerful laptop, but also I've got a big hunky desktop, which I'm actually going to be needing to replace in the next few months, which I bought about 4 years ago as well, and I've done some upgrades to it, even though it's got 24 gigabytes of RAM in there, a GTX 1050 Ti, and a nice i7 processor. It's still bugging out because I just have done so much on it. Video editing does require so much computer power, so by all means, hardware in terms of a powerful computer is extremely important with filmmaking, and more the post-production side, I guess, but still very crucial part of filmmaking. Next up, obviously, a camera. Not only just any camera you find, you know what I mean, hidden in your house, or one of those wind-up vacation ones, the disposable ones. You need a good camera. You know what I mean? You actually need a significantly good camera. 3 cameras that I can vouch for 100% right now, which are kind of in different budgets, are the Canon 600D, the first camera I essentially started doing proper video production with, shooting clubs, music videos, YouTube videos, and that is going to come in on the much more cheaper side. Probably, this is full guess right here, but I'm going to say about 300 bucks, something like that. Next up on the price list, in terms of a nice camera to get, would be the one I'm shooting this on, the Sony a6300. This is going to come in at more around, so I paid like £700 for it, so it's probably going to come in at around $900 to $1,000. The next camera up in terms of the price ranges is going to be the Panasonic GH5, hands down. You know what I mean, this is what I think now is pretty much the highest range you can get for amateur kind of video production. Obviously, you could go higher and use a crazy camera for amateur stuff, but as far as it goes for the basic kind of video production, I would say, when it's not making like a movie like Lord of the Rings or something, the Panasonic GH5 is going to give you amazing quality, especially when you get that other lens to it. And overall, just to conclude this section, a good camera is essential for video production and for filmmaking. This is a very obvious one, so all I could really do there is basically just give you 3 different cameras like I did in 3 different price ranges that are all reputable cameras. By all means, I'll link them all down below. Next up on my list of stuff that you are 100% going to need to include in your filmmaking starter kit is going to be a bunch of memory. Now, don't be cheap off the front and buy like the really slow memory cards, especially if you've got a good camera, because you're not going to be able to utilize things like 4K shooting if you've only got one of these kind of much slower cards. By all means, get the extremely fast cards. Get yourself a 32 minimum, a 32 gigabyte minimum. Try aim for like a 64. Obviously, it depends what sort of footage you're kind of capturing, how much of it you're capturing, etc. If you're just buying this to make a YouTube video, you don't need the biggest memory card, SD card, whatever you want to call it, because at the end of the day, you're filming one video like this, putting it on your computer, and then you've got all that space to film another. So This is more catered towards the people who are literally creating, you know what I mean, club movies, for example, which I create, you know, music videos, basically any sort of thing that's going to require a bunch of footage to be collected. And obviously, like I just said a second ago, do get yourself some good, some high-speed memory cards. This is, you know, something you'll regret later down the line if you don't get a high-speed memory card, SD card, whatever, because you won't be able to record certain formats on it. Maybe if you're, you know, dealing with 4K. Overall, just 100%, it's best to actually buy it nice or buy it twice. That's a, you know, it rhymes, because it's true. That's a pretty significant saying. Buy some good memory cards, and you know what I mean, you won't regret it, and you will have them for literally years. Memory cards aren't something that you're just breaking. They are something you could technically lose, but you know what I mean, as long as you have organization skills good, then you're probably not gonna be losing the memory cards, and you keep them in the little plastic wallets or whatever. But next up on the list of filmmaking things to include in your filmmaking starter kit, overall, the equipment you should include into the starter kit. Obviously, we have to do this, a tripod. The next thing on the list has to be the tripod. Now, again, you could go for two different approaches with a tripod. You could go for a very basic one, for example, like the one I use for recording YouTube videos. This literally never comes out the office. It's a very basic tripod. It might blow away if I took it out the office. I have tried before, but you know what I mean? Didn't work out too well because it's pretty thin. Overall, not the sturdiest thing in the world. By all means, like I said, you need to figure out the type of video production you're doing, because this is an amazing tripod for YouTube videos when you're just inside and there's no wind or anything, because there's nothing to interfere with it. But you know what I mean, for anything actually out of the office, or in your case, I don't know where you would originally be working at, but anything outside, whether it be, you know what I mean, music videos, etc., you're gonna want a nice sturdy tripod, not messing around with a cheap flimsy one. And you're gonna be wanting to get yourself something that's not gonna be blown away, that's staying there. Also, if you knock into it, it's not gonna, you know what I mean, fall over, for example, like this, you know, skinny one would, which would be terrible if you had to stay on a shot and inevitably someone might bump into it. If it's nice and sturdy, the camera won't really show much of that shake. Honestly, if it's a nice sturdy tripod, might not even move, to be honest. But you know, a flimsy, cheap one like this one, which is ideal for YouTube videos, will definitely move, will shake, might even fall over if someone accidentally hits it. You know, outside shoots are unpredictable, and overall, buy it nice, buy it twice. Again, I'm going to be making that the slogan for today's video, because I'm going to be exploring two different options for you guys, pretty much of all these topics, whether it be the tripod, the SD card, the camera, whatever. I'm trying to explore all the different options that I personally know, kind of to suit anybody watching this video, so it's not just appealing to one type of person. Next up on the list, microphone. Hands down, again, depends what type of video production content you are, you know, creating, but you know, a microphone is going to be essential for pretty much everything, just to improve the sound quality and overall just improve, you know what I mean, the feel. You know what I mean? If you've got amazing visuals, but you needed that organic, you know, real-time sound from the actual environment, you know what I mean, and not just digitally kind of animated on, or not animated, that was complete wrong lingo, and not actually added on in the post-production process through sound design and actually kind of, you know, fabricating all these noises, you're going to want to get yourself a microphone. Personally, I've been through two good Rode attachable shotgun mics, the Video Mic Go, yeah, the Rode Video Mic Go, which was the original one I had. I shot music videos on this, YouTube videos on this, literally everything was really good quality. And then next up, I also have the one I'm using now, which is just the standard Rode Video Mic. Both of them are slightly different price ranges. The Video Mic Go comes in at about, probably about 60 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that, maybe even a little bit less. And the oh no, my bad, I think it's about 80 bucks. And then the Rode Video Mic, just the one I'm using now, that comes in at about 120 bucks or something like that. But it also comes with a wind filter, and these are very good shotgun mics. They actually do give you, you know, amazing quality, and they're not the most expensive. Both of those are linked down below, as well as I also have a whole nother video comparing these two microphones. By all means, I would go check that out as well if you're interested in just knowing a little bit more about the details between what microphone you want to actually purchase. By the way, there's so many follow-up videos in the description that I'm thinking I can leave here, whether it be my review of microphones, my review of the cameras I've just talked about earlier, my review of, you know what I mean, anything, etc. Overall, boom, yes, microphone essential for your filmmaking starter kit. I promise you, you're going to need good quality audio. Next up is going to be lighting. Lighting depends what type of lighting you want. Again, depends on the type of videos you're creating. I'll show you a couple different ideas of lighting that is useful to me that I'm sure you guys can find some use in as well. The two types of lights that I've really heavily had use of is gonna be an attachable camera light. For example, like the one I'm showing you on screen, which, you know what I mean, essentially I use to film clubs, or I used to. It doesn't, you know what I mean, it kind of annoys people if they're at the club getting a big fat bright light in their face, so that was the reason why we eventually stopped using that. So, you know, we're not just trying to blind everybody, but you know what I mean, in terms of nighttime shoots of music videos, etc., having an attachable camera light is definitely a very useful thing, and by all means, it's just gonna be a nice kind of portable option to, instead, you know, schlepping around a bunch of big, you know what I mean, proper studio lights where you'd be setting them up on set, etc. And overall, it's a very, very nice kind of cheat sheet to still get some nice, you know what I mean, lit up content to whatever you're filming, but not have to bring around big ass lights. So by all means, attachable camera lights are great, but also that's great for the portable kind of stuff, but also, like I was saying, you might also need some soft boxes, etc. For example, there's a softbox right here that I'm using to film this YouTube video, simply to improve my, you know what I mean, the lighting of my face, etc. And soft boxes are extremely useful for just, you know, creating nice big light onto an object from multiple directions, so that it really kind of changes the feel of a scene. Not that it's, you know what I mean, kind of lit from one area like a camera light would be, which would just be directional from one angle, for example, the angle that the camera's aiming, or we could get, you know, a different lighting setup where we either have some LEDs or some softboxes or any number of different lighting you could actually use to kind of set that up on a few different angles, so that, you know what I mean, you're getting a nice full light and a nice kind of rich real lightness to the scene, kind of rather than the kind of fake light that this almost is right now. For example, I could turn this off even, hold on. Boom, so that's it turned off. You can see a massive difference. That's just from one simple softbox here, and you know, it does make a massive difference. Hold on. Boom, turning it back on. Next up, obviously, is gonna be editing software. Now, there's a couple different options you can go with when you're choosing a video editing software. You could choose a free video editing software, which is cool, but you're limited in terms of what you can create, or you could just, you know, get a good, reputable video editing software like Adobe Premiere Pro, like Final Cut if you're on Mac. Overall, those are the two main ones that I'd recommend. Mac, get Final Cut, I guess. Or if you're on Mac, actually, screw that. If you're on Mac, get Adobe Premiere Pro. If you're on Windows, get Adobe Premiere Pro. Both of them can run on Windows. Both of them can. I mean, both softwares can run. Both operating system, rather. Sorry for the mess up in the lingo. Can actually run Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro is also hands down industry standard at this point. Also, if you're looking for doing more effects stuff like crazy VFX, then get Adobe After Effects, pretty much. I don't think you need to venture out of the Adobe suite when it comes to video production, unless you're doing some next level crazy stuff. But by all means, Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe After Effects, great software. Finally, an external hard drive. You're gonna need somewhere to actually store all this stuff, guys. You know what I mean? Footage-wise, I've got folders on folders. I've only got 2 terabytes in my computer, and it's tough. I can't really keep everything, but thank God, you know what I mean? Thank God for, you know, the internet, places like Dropbox, places like, you know what I mean, places like Google Drive, etc. That is kind of my solution to storing all my footage and storing kind of my other files. But an external hard drive is a much more practical way of doing it. By all means, that's the way my homie Noah does it, and you know what I mean. External hard drive is pretty crucial, but again, it depends if you need to hang on to your footage. If you guys are just creating project by project and you don't really see any value in hanging on to all the footage and you don't need it for anything in the future, then you could just be doing those wipes. But I don't know about you, but in terms of me, the type of filmmaker I am, the type of creator I am, after I've created a whole project, I'm emotionally attached to the process. I went there, I filmed everything, I documented the whole thing, and you know, it's not super easy to just delete all the footage, even though I've just created the final product out of it. For me at least, that might just be my brain being weird, but I keep all my footage. I really try to. Like I said, I mix it between my different hard drives on my computer and obviously just putting it into the internet and on somewhere like Dropbox or somewhere like Google Drive, etc., iCloud, you could even do now. But boom, that concludes my filmmaking starter kit for beginners in 2018. I've been Jack or ItsJackCole. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, guys, and all content, all products talked about, everything is going to be linked down below. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day, and goodbye.